Welcome back, everybody. This is the thejonnymar, and this is Final Fantasy I: Dawn of Souls. And this guy looks kind of familiar, doesn't he? Although we haven't seen him for a very long time. It is Garland. That doesn't make any sense. How can he be 2,000 years in the past? The four forces saved you and sent you back through time. Huh. And then you sent the fiends into the future, where they'll send you back into the past. Notice the little statues there with the busts of all of the different creatures. Well, we've taken you out before, except not in this form. Oh man. That is an interesting little time paradox that's been developed. And here we go, the final boss of the game. And its name is Chaos. And for some reason it has a face in its crotch. And also faces on its knees. Not exactly sure why. Now, Chaos is easily the most difficult enemy in the game, as you might expect from the final boss of the game. So don't expect a pushover battle like the first time that we fought Garland. No. This is gonna take a while. Chaos has about 20,000 hit points in this version and around 10,000 hit points in the original version. So our strategy is gonna be pretty much the same. So we're going to boost our two main attackers and we're gonna try to keep our party alive with our other two characters. Now, Chaos likes to dish out lots of elemental damage, and his physical attacks, as you can see, are also brutal, even with Protera up. Now, we're going to try to use Null All. The only issue with Null All is that it only affects one character at a time. And there is a very good opportunity and chance here that one of our characters will get killed. Because Chaos, like I said, likes to dish out very strong physical attacks. But who knows, maybe we'll be able to keep everyone alive. I'm not super optimistic, but we'll see. And we'll try to dish out as much damage as possible. The more damage we do now, early on in the fight, the less we'll have to do later once my party members are wore down. And it becomes more difficult to keep them alive. Actually surprised at how little damage my knight is doing. Only 500. This is where the kind of inconsistent damage modifiers come in. That's something that I've noticed in later Final Fantasies, especially the older versions of them. And the game that comes to mind that... Uh-oh, this is gonna hurt. So yeah, you're gonna see the coolest spell effects in the game here. Ouch. 8 damage. Way to go, Johnny. But the game that comes to mind that's kind of for me, the most classic culprit of that in terms of inconsistent damage output is the SNES version of Final Fantasy IV, which here in the United States is called Final Fantasy II. Uh-oh, another super magic attack. This might kill Nakuso. Oh, so close. Keep hitting with damage. And we should be back to close to full health now. Except I cast Protera for some reason. Huh. Well, that'll help with the physical attacks, hopefully. But in Final Fantasy IV, you son of a gun. Alright, I'll have to bring Jester back. And he also loses all of his buffs, so we'll have to rebuff him. But there is very little consistency in terms of damage. And so one attack will do, 100 damage one time, and then the next round it'll do like 20, then it'll do 40, then it'll do 50, then it'll do 70, and then 30. It just seems like there's no kind of statistics-based consistency with that, which, you would expect in an RPG. that there's some consistency. All the damage output is based on formulas, obviously. But I guess there's some element of a random number generator of some kind. I haven't talked too much about this kind of ridiculous storyline. This idea that Garland died in the future, he was sent back in the past by the fiends, and then here in the past he sent the fiends forward, and then I guess he lives for 2,000 years? It's very, very weird. Or maybe he doesn't live for 2,000 years, maybe he dies after a normal life, I don't know. It's unclear, and it's even more unclear in the actual NES version. They really don't tell you anything in that version, except, oh, it's a time loop, deal with it. And basically they're gonna go through this huge narrative once the battle is actually over, kind of trying to tie up all these loose ends, and I don't think it really does that great of a job, but oh well. I'll talk more about that when we actually get to the credits, assuming I'm able to actually beat Garland here, or Chaos as he's called. Not quite as intimidating as some of the other Final Fantasy final bosses. So for example, he's not really as intimidating as Kefka's final form from 6. And I don't really want to spoil... Uh-oh, Cyclone. It's kind of cool how they added the effects of, like, the characters leaving the screen like that, too. It's pretty awesome. Kind of reminiscent of Galleon from Lunar. Silver Star Story Complete. He has a kind of list of elemental attacks as well when you actually get him in your party for a little while, when you're heading back to Berg. And I always like to use all those spells because they do massive damage. But now, since Avok is using Helaga pretty much every round, what I'm going to have to do is continue to feed ethers to him, or ethers. I just pronounce it ether. I know that's not generally correct, but oh well. I never said I pronounced things correctly. So anyone keeping track how much damage we've done? I'd say it's probably around 12 or maybe 13,000 so far. Uh-oh. This is an instant kill. Dang it! Stop killing Jester. And Jester, stop dying. Don't think I'm just gonna blame Chaos. You're not showing off your survivability that a knight is supposed to have. We do have some pretty sweet boss music here too. And now we're getting some repeats on the elemental spells. Still pretty awesome though. Notice it does about 100 points less damage now that we have Null all up on all my characters. Except Jester, of course, since he died. But we've gotten into a rhythm here. We'll feed Ether to Avok, we'll use Helaga, and then we'll continue to attack when possible, when they're not laying on their faces due to death, with my 2 attackers. Alright, a few more rounds I think and we should be done with him. And then we'll have the very, very, very long credit sequence. Not quite Final Fantasy VI, for example, which has almost a 25-minute credit sequence, but it's certainly longer than it needs to be for this version. And then I have to decide what I'm going to do after that, because, like I said many times throughout this LP, there is quite a bit of bonus content in this version of the game. In Dawn of Souls and then also in the PSP version, which I'm playing right now. So I'm definitely going to do all of the bonus dungeons. I don't know when I'm going to do them. Probably going to take a little bit of a break from the series before I head into those. But I'll get back to them very soon. And then there's the time-based dungeon that they added to this version of the game. And I've never played that before, so I really don't know what's involved in it. So that might be kind of cool. Do that blind, like I did the Dragon's Den for Final Fantasy VI Advance. And the reason I keep referring back to that is I've already completed that LP. And I know a lot of you have actually watched that LP before watching this one. So I don't feel bad about talking about it and spoiling things per se in that game. Although I'm trying not to spoil too much. And if you haven't watched it, feel free to check it out on my channel. That's my first Let's Play I ever did. The first few episodes are a little rough, obviously, because they were the first time I ever recorded. Please don't kill Jester. Nice. But it's also the series where I kind of evolved as a Let's Player. You can kind of see that throughout the different episodes. Learned editing a little bit better. Was able to change some stuff up. And the key thing is I started cutting out random battles. Like around episode 29 or 30, actually. And down goes Chaos. Wow. I was not expecting that. I thought he had a little bit more HP than that. But alright. That is it for the final boss of this game. And tune in next time for the final credits and the aftermath of the defeat of Garland for the second time. Thanks for watching, viewers. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you all next time where we wrap up this game.